Hey class, today we're going to be talking about rate of change at slope from 2 points. We're going to use these 4 examples to help us get an understanding of how to find slope and use the slope formula to do so. But before we begin, we're going to have to go over a couple things. Given 2 points, whether we have 2 ordered pairs, a table, or a graph, we're going to have to take those 2 points and we're going to have to label them. Now we can determine the slope of a line by using the slope formula. What we need to know is that slope represents the change in your y values. On a coordinate plane, that's your y-axis that goes up and down, and then you're changing your x values, and that's your x-axis that goes left to right. You will learn that the change in your y is found by subtracting the y coordinates, and the change in your x is found by subtracting the x coordinates. And what this leads into the slope formula, where we have our y2 minus y1 being divided by our x2 minus x1. Now, as we look at our first example and finding the slope from 2 points, the first thing we have to do is label our points. After that, we're going to plug the points in to the slope formula, and then we're going to solve and simplify. So let's look at our first example. It says find the slope of the line that passes through the points 1, 2, and -4, 3. Step 1, let's label. So if I go through and label my order pairs, this is my first order pair. I'm going to put an X and a Y above it. Then I'm going to write my second order pair, and I'm going to put an X and a Y above it. Okay? This is my first one, so I'm going to put a little 1 here. My second one, I'm going to put little 2's. Okay? Now I'm going to make my template. Slope is represented by the letter or lowercase m. So we're going to say m is equal to, we're going to put a fraction bar and put a minus sign in the middle at the top and at the bottom. Now what we're looking for is y2. That's the first blank, so we go to our y's and look at number 2, which is 3. We're going to go now look for y1, so we're going to go to our other y, which is 2, and fill in that blank. At the bottom of the fraction, we're looking for x2. Okay, so we go to x's. Number 2 is -4. We go to our other x, and that's number 1, so we put a 1. Now we solve. 3 minus 2 is 1. -4 minus 1, signs are the same, so because they're the same, we got to add and keep the sign. It's going to be -5. So because the bottom number is a negative, that means when I write my slope, I'm going to bring my negative out front. So my slope is -1/5. And that's how you find the slope for those 2 points. Alright, so as we move on to our next example. Our next example says that we have to find the slope of the line that passes through -7, -4, -3, -2. So let's label. So I write my order pair, I got -7, -4. Put my little X and my Y. Write my second one, we got -3, -2. Put my X and my Y. First order pair, write my little 1's. Second order pair, write my little 2's. Now from there, I make my template. So I got m is going to be equal to my fraction bar, subtraction at the top and bottom. So I'm looking for y2, which is here. That's -2. y1 is -4. x2, x1. Now what you should notice in this is that we got double negatives side by side, minus and a negative sign. So whenever we have double negatives like that, what we do is they're going to become positive, because 2 negatives become positive. And we also got it down here at the bottom, so 2 negatives become positive. So what we got is -2 plus 4. So -2 plus 4, signs are different. We subtract and take the sign of the larger, that's 2. We got -3 plus 7, signs are different again. Subtract, take the sign of the larger, that's 4. So now we have to make sure we can't simplify. 2 over 4 can be simplified down to become 1/2, because 2 can be divided by 2, 4 can be divided by 2, and that's how you get 1/2. So the slope for this one is 1/2. Alright, that's that example. Let's move on to our next one. It says find the slope of the line for 8,7 and -1,7. So let's label. We got 8,7, put our x and our y, and we got -1,7, put our x and our y. This is my first order pair, so I put my little ones. This one is my second order pair, so I put my 2s. Make my template. We got m is going to be equal to, put our fraction bar, minus sign, y2, 7, y1, 7, x2, -1, x1, 8. And then we solve. 7 minus 7 is 0. -1 minus 8. Signs are the same combined, so that'd be -9. Now what we should notice is that we got a 0 at the top. With a 0 at the top, it's basically saying 0 divided by -9. 0 being divided by any number is 0. So the slope for this one is 0. The name of that is simple, 0 slope. Okay, that's what that is. Alright, now as we move to our last example, we're finding the slope of -2,1, -2,5. So let's label. So -2,1, x, y, -2,5, x, y. First order pair, so I put my 1s. Second order pair, so I put my 2s. Make my template. M is going to be equal to, put my fraction bar, minus sign. From my formula, y2. Okay, so that's 5. From my formula, y1, that's 1. x2, second x is -2. My first x is also -2. But right here, we caught it. 2 negative signs again. 2 negative signs become positive when they're side by side. Now you don't have to put the box in a plus sign. You can rewrite it as plus if you feel like the box may confuse you. But for now, what we got is 5 minus 1, which is 4. And then -2 plus 2 is 0. Okay. This one's different because now we have 0 at the bottom. And anytime you have 0 at the bottom, it cannot happen. You cannot divide 0 into anything. So this type of slope is important to be able to identify, because this type of slope, when it says identify it, you're going to write m is equal to undefined slope. This is an undefined slope because there's no such thing as 0 at the bottom of a fraction. So that's going to be an undefined slope. Okay, so what we just did, we accomplished how to find slope using the slope formula using 2 points. Now, what we just got to remember is that we got to label our points. Once we label our points, we fill in the template using our slope formula. We're going to subtract or add depending on the sign, and then make sure that we have the simplified version of our fraction. You have to make sure it's simplified, okay? But other than that, that's how you find slope from 2 points.